Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this latest edition of the Pit Stop here, where we discuss everything round 4. My name is Andy Thompson. Forever, I've always got Tom, which is that side of me, in the box today, just to have a chit chat, and we've got a interview with our very own Thomas Cope standing by as well. But before we get into that, let's have a quick recap, really, of what happened in Road America. I mean, it was our first 2-hour endurance race. It was epic. It started off in the daytime, and again, I think it's a growing theme here, Tom, that we like to go into the night by the end of the races. Adds that little bit of extra spice into the rain, but the drivers seemed to like it, the difference of the 2 hours. It added a different element to it as well. So, you know, we've had the normal hour and 10-minute races, obviously moved over to the 2-hour race, and it seemed to go really well.
Yeah, it was nice for the guys to be able to get out on track, and if they did make any sort of mistake, they had a chance to get themselves back up. And, you know, we did see a few of the big names. So Scotty Mokes, for example, you know, he had a very early on incident, but was able to claw his way back up the field to still get some points towards his championship. I know now that we have obviously the drop scores applied, so we'll take a look at the points in a little bit here, and that's going to really spice things up a little bit. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic round. I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed commentating on it. It was action packed. So if you haven't watched it, then go back and enjoy the stream, definitely.
So it was, and obviously having a very special guest, an F1 driver, on the grid as well. It was quite an eventful, but I mean, we're looking at the pros there, them IGL coating guys, every single qualifying, they seem to lock out near enough the top 3-4 positions. We always see him at the front of the grid on that one, and they're doing an exceptional job. And then you've got Thomas Wangen and Niels Eric Isaacson, who are almost between themselves dominating. You've got Daniel Sedgley in there as well, that's really mixing it up, trying to mix it up with them two guys. But at the moment, it's very much them two that are sort of stealing the pro category, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, the IGL coatings guys, yeah, like you said, you know, they've been fast from the very beginning, and it looks like they're going to continue to try and run away with it the best they can. I think the big shocker from the round on Sunday was, as you were saying, you know, we had the F1 driver of Antonio Giovinazzi in, and he had a massive incident. One of his only very small incidents, put it that way, but he did crash into Lee King McGee, who was fighting for the win, I believe, in Pro-Am. So a lot of drama and stress happening from that. So that's something we'll have to take a look at, and I'm going to try and get some clips put up of incidents from the round, and also put a little compilation of some of the best highlights and action and things from that round as well. So that'll be coming up hopefully for next Sunday's race.
Definitely is. And then we've only got 3 penalties tonight, so obviously the race in its own, the drivers must be content with the incidents that they got in. I think we did see quite a few self-imposed incidents. Now, Road America is anonymous for that, you know, having that. It just draws you in to make them slight little incidents on there. And we were talking about turn number 5, turn 6, you know, Canada Corner, always the ones that catches a lot of people out. And it certainly didn't disappoint in that sort of aspect, because there was a lot of incidents going around them corners.
Yeah, especially coming down from, you know, 3-3A, like you said, into 5 and 6. You know, a very, very difficult, tricky, high-speed braking zone. Not a lot of runoff really if you happen to get into the side of somebody, and we did see quite a few incidents there, especially as well as, like you said, Canada Corner. Another one where people are coming through with cold tyres, pushing a little bit too hard, and just as you come out of Canada Corner and you go up over that left, over the hill, a lot of people losing the back end of the car and suffering, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, we saw some of the big names like get caught up a little bit coming, like you say, through the turn 13, just like you say, coming out after Canada Corner, going up through that slight little hairpin going up the top. If you get them slightly wrong, and we saw a few drivers get it wrong in that corner, it really hurts you, because you literally touch that grass and it spins you off and smashes you into the wall. You're almost like a passenger at that stage, aren't you?
Yeah, it's one of those courses that is, you know, I think the nice thing is that over the 2-hour event that we did have, people took it a bit more easy. People weren't as keen to try and make the silly passes and and run away with it. And we did find a lot of people having incidents and contacts with the wall at different points because there just isn't a lot of runoff room at Road America. It's it can bite you, and it can bite you really hard. So one thing we did see obviously was the pass for the pro win into turn one by Thomas Wangen on his teammate there. So I'm surprised there's not a penalty put in for that, because that was, I don't know if that was a hell of a move, or if we did find out that it was nothing to do with team orders, so it was pure attack. And fair play to him for making the pass and securing the win. But I wouldn't be surprised if his teammate doesn't hold him up a little bit next time, maybe, and try and get himself on the top spot of the podium.
Yeah, certainly no team orders there. And as we've only got a couple of incidents, we can have a look back at probably some of the highlights that you mentioned earlier with Antonio. Obviously, the pass that Thomas Wangen did on his teammate, very rude in my eyes, but that's between the two teammates on there. But let's have a look. Obviously, the drop rounds have now been applied to the scoring. So let's have a look how the table stands at the moment in all of the classes. So let me tune out. Let's go. So hopefully we can see that, and you can see that there, Tom. So let's have a look. So like I said, the drop rounds there's 2 drop rounds that the guys have. We've currently done 4 rounds, so pretty much it's the top 2 scores at the moment that the drivers will be having. And we can see at the top at the moment, Thomas Wangen on 45 points. So he obviously had his win in the endurance round, which gives you them extra points, and he had a win out in round number 1, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, round 1 in Canada. He had the win as well. So currently sat on maximum points of 45 is Thomas Wangen. Closely followed by his teammate Neil Eric Isaacson on 41, had an excellent win at Road Atlanta, and then had second place in the endurance race, so still scored probably a little bit more than a normal round. We have Daniel Sedgley after an excellent win at Watkins, getting, I'm trying to think where he came in that, third, wasn't it? I'm sure he came third in the endurance race on 49, so it's still very close with the top 3. A little bit of a 4-point gap with Thomas Wangen there over there. Looking further down, Ketiel Larsson's managed to leapfrog into 4th place at the moment in the Mercedes. Probably one of the only drivers to stick with the Mercedes in 31 points, so an 8-point gap between the top 3. Then we have last season's champion Scott Mokes, does have a 3-point penalty against him as well, so that's probably slightly hurting him at the moment. But like you said, we all know that he's very consistent, and I'm pretty sure he'll be scoring some decent points throughout the round. And Michael Hooper, our last season Pro-Am champion, moved up to Pro. He's there in 6th place at the moment. But Lance Sorensen, which is one of the other members of the IGL coaching e-racing by Sunday Traffic Skull, he has a really good qualifying, and we had a chat with him last time very robotically, I think, in one of our last podcasts, and we'll have to get him back on again. He admits that he's quite good at them 1-lap qualifying sessions, but then struggles in the race to keep race pace up with the top runners. But I mean, it's super close in that pro field, isn't it?
Yeah, he's basically the opposite of me. He's good at qualifying, and that's something I'm just not good at. I've never been good at qualifying, and it's definitely a certain talent that you that you hone in over time. But the IGL coatings guys, they're wiping the floor at the moment. I know we've got the Olympus Esports Redstone car of Daniel Sedgley there, not too many points behind, definitely within reach of even a win at this stage. There's so many rounds left to go. It's anybody's race at the moment. I'm interested to see the mix up a little bit further down the field, especially in the rookie class. So when we get down there, the points are certainly looking quite spicy between PJC and a couple of others near the front there. So I'll let you.
Tom, we'll get to them in a minute.
I do it every week.
Just because PJC's in the chat, like, you can't just big him up straight away. He's probably going to get a big head when we get to him anyway, Mr. Clean Driver.
The only other big head at the moment is obviously going to be Lee King McGee. So despite being taken out by an F1 driver, he's on the top of the podium at the moment, on top of the standings for Pro-Am. Only by 1 point, but fair play to him. he's still there. So it's I imagine he's awfully happy with his result at the moment.
Anyway, viewers, I'd just like to very much point out, I've got a very much plain black top on here. What sort of top have you got on there, Tom? Is that one of the new performance link tops?
Yeah, it certainly is. You can get those if you want a performance link top. Help yourself, you can get one.
Oh,
just
can I get one?
It's in the post. I've already sent it.
Yeah, not that old chestnut. Right, okay. Anyway.
Yeah. It's in the post. It's on the way.
They do look awesome, mate, don't they? And obviously,
Thanks.
you're freely giving away loads of tops and that. So yeah, you are obviously feeling very flush and rich at the moment to be able to give all our wonderful viewers a couple of tops out.
Hey, if you put in, you get out, right? That's what we want to do.
Very
we just want
true.
to give. We just want to bring good racing to everybody, and this is our hobby at the end of the day. It's not. You're definitely not going to give it your day job. That's for damn sure. Doing this. So,
Yeah, Simeon saying there, what, you can buy merch now? Yeah, you can, mate. If you go into the Discord channel, there's a merch channel, and you can go into there and fill your boots on. There's t-shirts, mugs, mouse mats, hats, and all other lovely apparel that you can wear. But anyway, back to what we were actually discussing. So before, obviously, Tom jumped the gun, we're looking at the Pro-Ams now. So Lee King Miggy, like you said, was really dominant in Road America. Had that slight incident, and I think he's going to cling on to that as his claim to fame, even though it sort of ruined his race. Is that he's still out in lead? That would have been a drop score for him. So not quite on maximum points there, but in fact it might not have been because he's on 39 points. So probably. Yeah, I think he got third place overall. He managed to recover quite well, but very strong at the moment. And now, obviously, the drop score's been around. Kim-Andre Borkland, that was mid-pack when we were looking at before that, has managed to leapfrog his way up into second place. Only 1 point behind there. And when we saw in Road America, this class in itself is super competitive. We just saw a big, huge string of cars in the Pro-Am division all fighting for each other. You got Casper there in third place, so it's super tight at the top of the field. Going into the race. Sophia Ridgebar, unfortunately, probably didn't do too well. She's currently on 21 points, but we know that she's got speed at the lower, so expect her to start jumping up the order when she starts getting the results in. But you can see how super close. 39, 38, 36, 35, 31, 30, 30, 30. So 6th, 7th and 8th have all got the same points with James Logston, Sander Island and Alexander Scorette. I mean, we saw James Logston at the top of the pile, but now the drop scores are in place. That he's sort of in the mid pack, but only 9 points behind. So super competitive class.
Yeah, we mentioned it a lot on stream, didn't we? The Pro-Am this season round especially it's incredibly spicy. I mean, there's some serious talent in Pro-Am, and I'm just glad that I'm not in it because like I said on stream, I wouldn't be keeping up with the likes of Lee or Kim or Casper or probably Casper, but
Yeah.
Not any of the top front runner boys there. So it's incredibly competitive in Pro-Am. It's it's a hell of a battle at the moment. So it's good to see it. It's what we come along to race for, and what I come along to commentate for this season. But it's well, I'm gonna be a wild card in the mid season. Maybe let's try that. Maybe I can commentate and drive at the same time. Who knows?
Don't be crazy. Don't get above yourself, mate.
Oh, I know.
But
we'll see.
I suppose one of the interesting things is probably throughout all of them, they see big shifts in the positions of where they're at. But if you remember in this one, James Logston was out in front by quite a few points before this round. So what we can say now is that James has got some really good and strong drop round scores, whereas other people, I think Kim-Andre Borkland was more in the mid pack. He will have low drop round scores to rely on, so it's more at risk to be able to say basically they can't take the risks that you can if you've got a decent drop round score to fall back on, because if you make a mistake by trying to push that little bit too much, you've got a good score behind you. If you haven't, you can't really risk it, because it could be a season ender if you don't get decent points in pretty much every round. Certainly in this class, which is like super competitive at the moment.
Yeah, the drop round, knowing how to work the drop rounds is incredibly important when it comes to longer seasons and longer championships. You don't want to have any bad rounds. They do happen. I know the guys that are going to be sweating and stressing a little bit more about their drop rounds are guys in like the top of pro, for example. Thomas Wangan, he has had impeccable performance so far, but he did say live on the stream on Sunday that he's waiting for that bad day to come. And over 12 rounds, it's going to be highly unlikely that they can maintain that sort of that capacity and that speed and that ability for that duration. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here on out, knowing that a lot of people don't have it in the bag anymore to rely on. So we'll have to see what happens.
100%. Let's have a look further down in the classes. So we go to the AM class. So currently leading by Tom, and I think that's him in the chat as well. So currently leading by 5 points at the moment over Simeon Motorclev. Now Simeon is one of them drivers, we've had him on before, is a very quick driver out on track, but is sort of prone a little bit to the mistakes. And if you've watched him in season 1, you see how hot and cold he sort of blew in each one of the rounds. I mean, you look at Fiji, he was super strong in that round, and then other rounds it was sort of paling away. And then basically again this season, I think Road America he did quite well, but Road Atlanta he struggled and pretty much almost didn't score any points in that round. So again, we've had a chat with him. He came on the broadcast on Sunday, and basically I asked him the question of how he was going to sort of try and get that out of his game. But I think it sort of comes with experience. The more league racing you do, the more races you get under your belt, you sort of get to grips a lot more with the car, and then you could become a lot more consistent. So he's doing exceptionally well at the moment. Second place, only 5 points behind Tom Savage. He's only 5 points behind by the feeling of the 3-point penalty that he received from Road Atlanta. Otherwise it'll only be sort of two point gap. So again, he's probably got some poor drop round scores to be going at, but he's certainly got the speed and the pace to be in that top half of the AM field, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was just thinking there actually while looking. I know we're moving obviously now away from the Americas and over to Europe. The McLaren is going to be strong in Europe. That's one thing I was thinking actually, that the Mercedes is not going to have too many incredibly strong tracks in Europe, especially at as we move further into the Pacific side of things as well. So the fact that Simeon is only 5 points behind, it's not a big lead at the moment, I don't think, considering the tracks and the format and things going forward. So if Simeon can put in the practice and obviously wear that performance link shirt, that will help him speed up.
100%.
So
that's 5 tenths of a second. It's 5 tenths of a second easily per lap.
Per lap, per corner. I was going to say
per sector, mate, easily.
Per sector, yeah. So, so yeah, but no, for Simeon, obviously he's listening in the chat at the moment. For his age and everything and his ability to be running second in AM at the moment, considering the strength of field we have in AM, he's doing a cracking job. So keep plugging away, and hopefully you can knock the old Bear Pope 0 off the top there.
Also, I must have been wrong. It wasn't Road Atlanta then, but I think you've had one poor round, haven't you, Simeon, this season so far, if I'm not wrong. So if it wasn't Road Atlanta, it's probably one of the earlier rounds. So I'm sure he'll be able to tell us in the chat. But then looking further down, we've got Gordon Haig there in 4th place, only 16 points off the lead, and then Champon Asavon. I think I'm probably butchering his name every time I sort of say it, but we saw him out in Road America getting that pole position, the first pole position of the season for him, but obviously struggled a little bit in the race. But that would have been great confidence for himself to be like, I've got the pace for the AM field. I was at the front row. I was setting the pace in qualifying, so therefore I can take that on into the later rounds. And then looking further down, it's still super close. I mean, all the way down to sort of 9th place, it's only 22 points off the top place, and you can gain them places back. Obviously, being the amateur class, it's more about consistency than scoring them high super points every time, because you can score the high points, but you've got to score points across all season, or else you find yourself falling down the order in the AM. So it's all about that consistency when it comes to the amateur class, and the rookie class is getting them points in the bag, isn't it?
Yeah, when you're when you're at the rookie and ability level, managing the race is something that's crucial, and that does come with a lot of practice. Being able to know when to not stick your nose down the inside, or let the person in front feel some pressure for a little while and then make a mistake. That's knowing when to be careful and when to push and when to not. It does come with practice and time, and a couple of guys we've seen from season 1, they're really making a lot more strides and differences in this season, just because they're starting to get into the flow of it. They're understanding a bit more about the racecraft, and they're able to apply that, and we're seeing the results in season 2.
Yeah, 100%. And it's all about the consistency. But that's where doing more races, getting that iRating up, getting the experience on what we call the Crash Fest iRacing series, just trying to keep out of trouble on there, pays big dividends when you come into a league racing, because you get that, and you can't teach racecraft, you've got to learn it, and the best way to learn is actually out on track. So super competitive in there. Obviously at the moment, Tom Savage 5 points ahead, so he's certainly got that bullseye on his back of his car that everyone's going to be chasing. But like you said, we're only a third of the way into the season. There's so much more to come. Let's have a look at the rookie class then, moving over to the rookies. So we got Nicholas Gronstrom heading out the rookie class at the moment, 42 points. Sam Curran in second place on 39. Paul Joseph Clist on 39. And obviously his bonus points are going to be insane, because he just seems to have clean round after clean round. I think at Road America he had another score. Ian Henneberry in fourth place there on 37. So the top 4 are sort of covered by 5 points in that rookie class, so super competitive. And then you've got Torben Mele, who's not that far behind on 29. So it's good that this season we've got more than the 3 cars that we had in season 1 that are fighting for that top position. And we've seen the great racing and out on track. We saw Nicholas Gronstrom, if I remember rightly, in Canada, was super strong, had a bit of an incident, and then found himself further down the field. But then he's shown his consistency, that he has got that pace in pure race. He just needs to put it into consistency on the lap, and he certainly put that together in Road America by getting that win, which has really catapulted him up the standings. Because that's one of the things you got to think of when you were saying about the 12 rounds, is the endurance round. It's a 2-hour race, but they're the ones that have got the most points. So they're the ones you really don't want to be dropping and scoring a decent amount of points, because they're really going to benefit you, certainly in this class that's super competitive.
Yeah, I agree. It's keeping going is a very important thing in these kind of championships. Being consistent, scoring the points over every round that you possibly can, and especially on the endurance rounds. If you can put the time in to complete them, and even if you do have a bad incident, keep going like Scott did on Sunday, it will pay dividends towards the end of your championship season. So a couple of the guys I'm looking at here in rookie at the moment, actually, one driver that I'm thinking may start jumping up near the front is Ian Henneberry. He was incredibly fast in the beginning of the season, within striking distance easily of the top spots, and I think he'll be one to watch. But I know that coming on the next race we have, we'll try and focus a little bit more on obviously the rookies and the AMs as well, just to see what those fields are doing, because as the things start heating up, we want to see where all these championships are going for each class. So we don't want to just be running off with the front guys all the time in pro and things. So we'll make sure we have a good look at rookies and AMs for next race as well, to to give these guys a bit of time to shine on the stream as well. So it's looking pretty darn competitive. I'm so hoping PJC wins it, honestly. So that would be ideal, and he'll get bumped up into AM.
He certainly would. He probably people probably think, well, why is he not in AM? Is because the gap's there, and as you can see, I think Paul is probably in the right class in the rookies, because the rookie field this season is a lot strong. Is probably just as strong as it was that, but we've got more drivers to be able to sort of do it. And anyway, on the broadcast, I think we do quite a good job of looking at all the classes and cars and fights out on track and stuff like that. So, yeah, we try to get everybody on stream if we can, looking at them. Certainly, if you're in a hot battle, you'll sort of be on there. But yeah, so super competitive. Let's have a look at the team. Let's look overall. Let's see where we're at with the team sounding. So. Probably hardly unlikely, the IGL code team e-racing by Sunday Traffic Scholar are leading out the way at the moment on 137 points. Team Bear Pope, obviously we knew at the start of the season that they were putting in the two teams, and we're going to be strong this season when it comes to the team championship. Currently in second and third with Team Bear Pope in second and Bear Pope Zero in third overall. Our last season's champions, Sim Racing Norway, they're in fourth place. And then Dane Racing in fifth place, with AKM Racing UK, after that strong performance in Road America, up to seventh place, up 2 places from them. Olympus Esports Redstone down 2 places. Obviously, the drop scores don't apply to the team, so the team is basically over the 12 rounds of the top 2 drivers. So super competitive at the moment in there, and it's good to see a good mix up there, and at the moment it's quite close with the top 4, mate.
Sorry, just unmute myself quickly. Yeah, the it's incredibly close, really. The IGL Coatings boys, I think everyone's expecting them to sort of run away with it, but I'm hoping Bear Pope start to get the results in a little bit more. The IGL guys are going to run out of luck. A lot of it is skill and practice, but when it comes to this kind of racing, anything can happen. So it's only going to take a round or 2 for the Bear Pope guys to be right up there, as well as Sim Racing Norway. To get on the podium in the teams champs at some point. It's well within striking range. It's only 3 points away from Bear Pope Zero, so it's anyone's championship. I mean, like you said, like we've been saying, we're only a third of the way through. Loads of racing to go, loads of rounds to go. So it's anybody's championship and anybody's win at the moment.
Yeah, it is. We are so early on in the season, and in the team championship, you haven't got the luxury of having to drop scores. It's basically every round scores. So you need to make sure you're in it to win it, to get them points and score them points, because it's so easy. If, like you were saying, obviously the top team at the moment, the IGL coating guys, we see them in the top 2 of the pro, but we see how competitive that pro field and how much the elbows do get out last season in that pro field when it gets into the meat and potato of the season as such. That's when the slight incidences, like you were saying, I don't think they're riding their luck. I think they're very much skillful drivers, but it just takes that one incident, like we've seen with Scott Mokes. We never see normally any incidents from Scott. He had a slight incident in Road America that was very unorthodox, but it's so easy to do. That 1 minute lapse in concentration, certainly on them longer endurance rounds, that's when it can sort of impact you as such. But yeah, so that's the points there, guys. Super competitive. The drop rounds are in, and it's all to play for. And I think we've got it again. The majority of the people are in the correct class where they should be. I know Casper constantly complains about being in a Pro-Am, but currently, mate, you're in third place in the Pro-Am, so you're completely not an Am driver, so out on track. But obviously, we've been talking for long enough now, so let's have a look at bringing in one of our drivers to have a chat with. It's our very own Thomas Cope. Hasn't been racing in the last couple of rounds, and I'm pretty sure he's going to explain why that is and when he's actually going to come back. So let's bring him in. Hey Thomas, welcome to the podcast, mate. Very much feeling like a regular viewer, I think, on this podcast. I think it's the third time you've been on. Welcome, mate, and how have you been getting on?
I've been doing all right. I am missing the Performance Link leagues. It's sad to be away, but I'm doing all right, and I'm enjoying watching and being behind the scenes and still seeing everything that's going on.
Definitely is. So obviously you made the decision. You very much. I think we talked to you in season 1, and we asked you what sort of leagues you were doing, and I think you reeled off like a Gatling gun how many leagues you were actually involved with. So obviously you're probably still exactly the same with your calendar being super full. You decided to not step back from trying to fight for the championship here in the Performance Link League, but you decided to, okay, I'm going to basically just pick and choose the rounds I want to get in. So explain us the decision you made when you decided to do that.
Yeah, to put it lightly, I've started a new job in the real life, so it's taking its toll on me. Just not being able to practice 24/7, and I'm putting the laps ready for events. So unfortunately, Performance Link was when I had to drop because I had several leagues that run on Sundays and most weekends, so I had to drop. I didn't drop it as such, like Andy said. I'm just stepping down and only doing a couple of races here and there. At the moment, I haven't done any races since I kind of said that I couldn't do any, but yeah, I will eventually be back on the track with you guys. But yeah, it's just doing too much, like I say, doing so many leagues and yeah, I've got to focus on them a bit more, especially like the Croco GB and the big leagues. Not that this isn't a big league; it's still a really good league.
Good recovery.
Yeah,
we understand. We're not the Carrera Cup GB. We do understand that. You know, it's that does take precedence over running with us. So you know, no hard feelings at all for that. So you know, it's fair enough.
One thing I want to do, and I think it's probably another reason why you're sort of maybe just picking and choosing the round you want to go in, is have you found this season super competitive? And the reason, obviously, you're not really trying to be competitive is you're not able to practice because you can see how strong the field is in that pro category that with not practicing, you're finding yourself at a disadvantage.
Yeah, 100%. That was one of the big reasons why I made the decision. Like, I mean, you got some of those IGL guys that are really quick. I mean, Thomas Wangen is a really quick driver. I've seen him in many other leagues other than this one as well, and I look up to him in a few other cars as well. So it's like, and some of the other guys have stepped up and they're running faster cars and with faster guys, and yeah, it's so competitive out there in the pro field now that I'd have to put in hours on end to get ready and get setups built and just be prepped ready for a Sunday night, which on most weeks I can't do, just due to having Carrera Cup GB, for example. Like, I'm doing 25 hours of practice on the week of a race day for that series alone, and then obviously then prepping for this as well. It kind of does take a bit of a hit.
Yeah, it definitely is. And obviously, I'm just looking at some of the comments, and everyone's asking when are the pictures for Road America going to come out, because I think they love the pictures that you do for us here on Performance Link.
The photos will be out very shortly. I know Andy's only just uploaded the replay file for me today, so I'll get them done. It'll either be tonight or tomorrow night. I'll probably start taking the photos tonight, but it probably end up being tomorrow night, maybe even Friday night by the time I got them all taken and edited ready for you guys to be able to view them all.
And we fully appreciate you doing them for us. Obviously did season 1 and obviously continuing that on for season 2. So although you may not be driving every week and taking lovely pictures of your car, you're taking lovely pictures of everybody else's car. But one thing I do want to know, obviously it's a bit different for you now, because like you would say, you're now watching the races rather than being in the races. How's it like being on the other side of the fence? And then obviously being a part of the Olympus Esports, are you more trying to help the others like PJC, Daniel as well? Because Daniel's doing really well in that pro category, isn't he?
To be fair, Daniel's a really solid driver in himself. He'll probably hate me for saying this, but he's a very self-contained driver. He doesn't need too much training or coaching to be quick. He's naturally a quick driver, and I think he's got some really good talent, and his iRating doesn't quite show how good he actually is just yet. And I'd like to say he's up and coming into the sort of range with me, around 6 or 7K. So and then obviously, yeah, I'm working with PJC trying to help him out, and obviously seeing how he is doing in the standings is really good to see. Everything's paying off. Obviously, all the guys in Olympus get their own little duties to try and improve, and with some of the new systems as well that we've got in set for telemetry and seeing how all the drivers are doing on certain tracks. It really helps every driver individual to work themselves on improving and ultimately just being the better themselves.
So you spotting for any of the guys during the races, or are you just there for moral support?
A bit of moral support. I am usually there or thereabouts during events. I've had a few admin stuff I've had to do through a couple of races at the moment, but yeah, I'm usually there running the team stream, helping the guys out. Maybe a bit of strategy work here or there, just on the side, helping to potentially come out with a good result in the end.
Definitely is. I mean, obviously, just looking at the team this year, you got Paul Joseph Clist, obviously yourself, that's now sort of, and then you got Daniel currently in the team championship. I'm just trying to see where you've got the Olympus Esport area in 6th place, and then the Olympus Esport Redstone in 8th place. So even though you've taken a step back, the team's still doing quite well in the championship, aren't they?
Yeah, it's also another reason it helps show off the other guys and lets them have a bit of the limelight. Like, I've had my fair share. Obviously, I did all of season 1, and I had the really good fights with Scott, obviously. And obviously, it just adds to it. We can show off a few more of our drivers. You know, it's not just one guy at the front in Olympus Esports. We have 7 or 8 drivers up and down the roster that are really good and competitive. I mean, Sophia's out there as well, doing a really good job in the pro-am field when she's actually out there and running well, really. I know she got caught up in a couple of incidents here and there in a few of the races, but obviously she's another really solid driver that's up in the field for us right now.
It 100% is, and I suppose it's good to have that cross spread. We see it with Team Bear Pope. They've got people in pretty much every single one of the classes, and very much like yourself, so nurturing the younger drivers through to then obviously in seasons to come they will be the top ones, and you can backfill the bottom fields in. I suppose that's what makes a team and grows a team to be stronger, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, you build those younger guys and lower I-rated drivers up, and they'll treat you nicely throughout the rest of their careers. You know, they'll always remember that we were one of their first teams, and if we help them out, they'll help us out later on in their careers of iRacing. And you know, we're also just a bunch of friends. Everyone knows everyone in Olympus right now. Obviously, we've got a few new guys and gals coming in, but we're all one big friends group, and yeah, although we are international, like obviously Charles is American, a few other Danish and Germans in there, but in theory, everyone knows everyone. Everyone will jump in and race with anyone, and yeah, we're just, everyone loves each other.
So obviously in this in this second season, we've got we've decided to split a race up in the middle with the special event that we're running with yourselves at Olympus Esport. That's going to be a fun event, isn't it? The Cadillac at Alton Park with teams of 4. Yeah,
it's going to be a kicker. It's going to be really good. I've had to take a step away. I've not heard too much about what's happening teams wise, but I know it's going to be fun. Just the event as a whole. Just in that Cadillac. I mean, I had to do some of the testing behind the scenes for Charles. Not any special privileges. I don't know any more than the car and track like anyone else. But yeah, it's a really good combination. I think it's going to make for a really good special event and race day throughout the whole field.
It is. I mean, it's a fixed car setup, so certainly no benefit from the setup. I think we might tweak the fuel to make sure the drivers do what we want them to do out on track for thingy. But apart from that, I mean, it's a completely standard setup. It's going to be an awesome 4-hour event that's going to be streamed live on Performance Link. Obviously, we're going to be providing all the commentary and the points and all that good stuff, and Olympus are providing the prizes. So big thank you from us for that. And it should be a good thing and a good collaboration between obviously us and yourselves and the other teams that want to get involved as well. You know, I think it's a good addition to what is probably a competitive 12-round season, because they can get quite, I suppose, stressful, and to have just a mid-season break with a nice fun event just refreshes the batteries, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Just being able to relax, like you say. you can go out there and remember why you're sim racing, and having a bit of the enjoyment side, and really just relaxing and having fun with everyone around, and like I say, having a good laugh on track, really.
Definitely is. But no, Tom, have you got any questions? I seem to be stealing all the highlight.
No,
mate.
no, it's
You
fine.
just I
It's
can
fine.
just see you there sitting back, enjoying it, looking at the chat. Have you got any questions for Tom?
Taking it easy, you know. No, not really. No, not really. The one thing I was going to say actually about the mid-season event is that hopefully we can get a lot of drivers to get cams on, so we can get a good cycling of people's cameras on, and we can have a chat with them while they're driving potentially, or different teams, or see what strategies they're thinking of. And you know, it's funny. I tried to not laugh when you said get the drivers to do what we want them to do. They never do what we want them to do ever. So,
Sort of force
you know,
them. In a way, a little bit of a way.
But that's what we love, right? That's what we love. We love drivers to not do what we expect, and that makes for fantastic racing and makes it a lot easier to commentate on. So yeah. Apart from that, you know, it's good to see you, TC, and I know you're crazy busy with all the big boy stuff at the moment. So, but thanks for doing all the photos and you know, staying in touch with us all, and you know, one love, all that stuff.
It's always an honor. Obviously, I will get back on track with you all, obviously, again. So
Best do.
I'm at Donington again this month, end of the month.
I'll have to see if I can get down then.
Sounds good, mate.
Well, before we obviously let you go, Thomas, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out on the stream before we let you go, mate?
Yeah, just you guys. Like, obviously, I know I said it all last season. Every time I ever got in a broadcast or a podcast or anything, you guys for the amazing league and everything you've done, giving Olympus the chance with this new special event that's upcoming. I'd like to say on behalf of Charles, I know it'd always say that every time he can say. And all the hard work you guys do, and especially giving me the shot, personally doing all the photography for the league for you all, and as well.
Yeah, definitely. But just tell people where they can get hold of you to give themselves some personalised pictures for either their league, their team, or whatever. Just we'll let you shamelessly plug yourself, mate.
Yeah. So you can either contact me on Discord if you're in the Performance Link Discord. Feel free to drop me a DM. You've got me through there. I have an email, tcsomography@gmail.com. You can feel free to contact me through there. Or also I have a Discord that is out there. I am working on a website which will be public as well eventually. Still quite a bit off of that getting that sorted, but yeah, everything's out there. If at the moment, just DMs, unfortunately, but always feel free to contact me if you ever want anything doing or any work, or especially even if it's the league, if you just want one photo of your car from the race because you had a good day, I'm more than happy to add that into the photo album for you.
Well, thank you very much, mate, and we look forward to seeing you out on track. It's very unusual not to be saying there's Thomas Cope going off for getting a pit lane 40-second penalty. So
you had to say
it.
You had to say it.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, guys.
TTC.
Had to get that one in there, didn't I? You know, he's such a stalwart supporter of this league, and we really appreciate everything he does for us out on track. But yeah, let's have a look at a couple of penalties. Like I said, we've only got 3 penalties tonight, so if you want to see or want us to watch something, particularly on your race during the Road America race, then just shout out in the chat and we can have a look after we get past the what do we call it, the hard
meat
part,
and veg.
the hard part, the meat and veg. It's not the dessert. It's more like that sour tasting bit in between courses, I think, to clean your palate.
I love it because I'm not getting any penalties.
That's unusual, isn't it, for you? Like, but let's have a look then. Let me put this up. Right, so let's get straight into it. So we've got Lars Sorensen against Michael Hooper, lap 54, turn number 5. So let's have a look. So Lars Sorensen, lap 54. I'm actually experimenting with the stream deck. I don't know if anybody else I know quite a few of the other guys use the Stream Deck, but honestly, it's been such a game changer for me in the broadcast.
Yeah, they are brilliant.
Oh man, I can't.
I
I wish they'd sponsor me, but yeah, not cheap, but certainly well worth it. Certainly when I can do all this stuff straight from apart from find the lap, obviously.
True.
But I can just.
Can you do a share to me, please, mate?
Oh, that's. Let me see. Let me see if I can share the screen here.
You're a nice chap.
I do try every now and then, you know.
While you're doing that, just want to say thanks to everybody watching. Make sure you please like and subscribe. Just liking these and getting our stuff bumped up. We're actually starting to get now thrown into the YouTube algorithm. We've been noticing on the analytics, so it's really important for you to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, all the fun rubbish. So thank you for everybody that does that. So we appreciate it.
Cool. Obviously, it doesn't take long anymore on the Stream Deck, so I can just flip to it. So turn number 5. So this is it coming up there. That was a bit spicy coming around into turn 1. I think we saw this one on the stream, didn't we? I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's have a look.
This is the one I'm thinking of.
Look at that. I think you can do see what happens. Go. Wow, how did you miss him there?
Was there even contact?
I don't think there was. Let's have a look. So we'll stop normal speed.
Maybe.
Not seeing anything there.
Can you go on, rotate the camera around to the side angle? Maybe?
Well, I mean, you can't even see the car move in front. There's no moving at all from the car in front. You can certainly go on board.
He's got a stream deck on the dash, look.
Oh.
Doesn't look like he hits him.
Oh. We'll have a look outside. So let's stop. Let's go to...
Simeon said it is lap 54, mate.
Well, unfortunately, yes it is. Sorry, my bad. I'm actually on 43 anyway. Well spotted there. Goal points for you, Simeon. Try again.
Free mug for Simeon for spotting a mistake that Andy made. They're rare. They're so rare.
Can't set precedents like that. I make loads of mistakes. We'll be bankrupt in 4 podcasts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's have a look here. Just make sure I get something different.
He said still lap 53.
It shouldn't be 53. No.
There we go.
Stupid.
It's weird that it did that.
I know.
You know what's funny? The amount of people watching now has gone up considerably. Now we're into the
Penalties.
into the penalties.
Everyone hates us waffling at the start. They just want to see this bit.
Yeah.
Oh, finally got him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Pretty much, Craft. Pretty much.
Boom. Yeah. I don't think I need to say any more of that. Do you need to, mate? I think that is a cut and dry
No.
level 2.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
God, easy decision as well. Look at that.
I know. Right, okay, next one is Asavon on Simeon. From lap 51 to 57, he blocks me all the time. Simeon, are you playing the blocking game again? Let's have a look. Where is Mr. Asavon?
Crab said, seems like the BMW overslowed a lot there.
Not necessarily, because you can slow down at a turn and then basically get it in. It's always going to be the responsibility of the car behind to make sure that he doesn't hit into the back of the car. Now, if there was massive stoppage in the front and there's exceptional circumstances, then that's different. But you can see that he's still going through that corner at relatively decent speeds, I would say. Right, let's have a look at this one then. So from lap 51 to 57. Well, that's a bit vague, isn't it? Let's see. Where's Simeon? So that's Simeon in front.
I would just hit fast forward and.
Already done it, mate. Already done it.
Okay. Get the gist.
Way ahead of you.
Is they the same class?
Yeah, yes, they are. He's an AM, and Simeon's an AM, so yeah, they are the same class. Same position, aren't they? Yeah, 17 and 18. So this is 4 position. Right, we'll watch one more lap. Obviously, you can't just put 5 laps, guys, because we'll be here all night else. You need to try and put specific incidences of blocking. You can't just randomly put 5 laps. You need to try and put a little bit more. So we have done 2 laps here. So we'll watch this lap and just see the flavour, the spiciness of the racing, really, I think.
I wouldn't say it's any blocking at the moment.
No.
I mean, that was... Bloody hell, that was a hell of a dive.
Watch out that, actually.
I can understand your frustration, obviously. You know, if you feel like you are definitely quicker, but... I mean, you're like 2 car lengths back.
Yeah, I mean, Simeon did a good job there in obviously avoiding that, in my eyes.
Yeah, that could have been a race ender if he turned in.
Yeah.
Still not seeing anything that would warrant blocking, really.
No.
I mean, you've definitely got some pace on him. I agree with that. He's not blocked
fine.
You there.
That's completely fine. Completely fine there. That's not blocking. It's just chasing the racing line. Watch down to turn 5 again, and that's you know, just having the pace on the car in front doesn't mean that the car in front, if he's fighting you for position, has to get out of the way. I mean, you're being super aggressive there in my eyes. See, that, to me, guys, is I think that's pretty poor sportsmanship in my eyes. Is flashing a light when you're racing for position. I mean, obviously, if you're coming behind back markers, I understand that. I know you normally do it in normal racing things, but obviously, in a league, if you're fighting position, I mean, it's very much one of them for discussions, isn't there? Flashing your lights. I don't agree with it when you're fighting for position to try and put somebody off in front of you. Just race people. I mean, all I'm seeing at the moment is Simeon's doing a really good job at defending his lines. He's not making real big changes in there. Yeah, okay, you may well be faster than him, but it's down to you to make the passing opportunity count. Now, Simeon's got the track advantage. So it's down to him to be able to say, okay, you've got to get past him. It's not for him to move over to the side. I suppose they're fighting for position. That's what I see.
I got to agree. Yeah, I mean, I got to agree. I'm not seeing anything that doesn't warrant him being on the line. Unfortunately, you keep going to the outside when there's no way to pass on the outside there, as far as I can tell.
It can get. I suppose one of the things it can do is it can be quite frustrating when you're faster and you can't get past it. But at the end of the day, that's racing. Simeon's doing, I think, exactly the right thing. He's choosing his defensive line. He's not coming across in the braking zone. I think he's being predictable. He's just covering off the ideal line. And I think Thomas Cope said that to me when he raced me in. I think it was one of the Apex series. He said he always used to hate when he came up behind me because I wasn't naughty or anything, but I was taking the defensive lines coming through the corner, and Thomas found it extremely hard to pass me. It wasn't that I was trying to block him; it was just the racing line that I saw, and I think that's what we're seeing here, mate. So for me, no further action. Racing, really, that is for me.
Yeah, I don't see anything that warrants a penalty. I mean, can you jump back 2 laps, please, mate?
Yeah.
Jump back 2 laps and then go to now reverse from there, rewind. I want to go all the way back to the corner just down here. Okay, so play it from here. So what you should be doing now is you should be thinking, just play it full speed. What you should be doing now is you should be thinking, I'll give him a little bit of space. Therefore, you can then get the momentum to get the run to go down the long straight here. But instead, you've dived him a little bit. You're now right next to him, and you've essentially compromised yourself to not be able to maintain and get a bit of the slipstream to then be able to pull out to make enough of a pass to then be able to fight for the line. I mean, at this point, you're in the slipstream, but you're actually basically gaining no speed at all, really, because of the car position. If you want to make a move along there, you need to try and set him up a little bit better in order to get the run passed on a straight, or at least be in a competitive position to actually make the pass down on the inside.
This is probably how to. We'll give you a few pointers here, or limited knowledge on this of how to do it. This corner is probably a prime example of exactly what Tom's saying. If we watch Simeon's car just here, watch how when you come in around this corner here, the normal racing line is coming out wide, going in deep, and then using all the exit. Watch Simeon's car, and he did this quite a few of the corners going in. He was being super defensive, which is well within his rights to be able to do. But this is what Tom is saying about setting somebody up for trying to get a pass. What Asavon should probably have done is taken the normal line a little bit slower into the entry, but you can get a fast exit speed out. So where Simeon's going defensive to try and block the inside from you, he's naturally going to be a lot slower on the exit, like we just saw the previous corner. And all you do is you just come into the corner a little bit slower to get the better exit speed. If we slow-mo this, we can sort of see Simeon's car in front. Watch how much off the edge of the apron he is, which is massively off the racing line, which shows how slow he was going through this corner to just basically get the defensive line in here. So you can sort of see here, you're following him in, but watch this. You normally come right out here, right near enough touching the grass. Look how far, he's literally just touching the curb. You're just following him on there. If you took the racing line normally there, you would have had such a speed advantage of him on this long straight, coming down the Moran straight, and you'll easily be able to make a passing move into turn number 5. And probably worth looking forward as well. And if we watch here coming down into turn 5, just set him up. He's going to go defensive. So look where he is on track. He's gone to the inside, which means he's going to be super slow on the exit. Yet he's covering off the inside, so you can't make the passing move. Just come out wide, cut inside, and then basically you could probably take him again on the inside. You can see already how much speed you're gaining, but because you're now going out wide to the outside, you're not in the optimal line for turn number 6 coming up at the moment. Simeon again is taking that inside line, being super defensive, but this part of the track, certainly on Road America, it's extremely hard to make that passing opportunity around this part of the section of track. The ideal opportunities you want to get to him is around the kink, coming down into Canada corner. That's always a good opportunity to get him on the inside, but you've got to be really brave and really cautious, because we saw a few incidents there of cars coming up behind him. But then also thinking, so what you've done there, Simeon's come across the track, which he's rightfully doing, and he's constantly slowing you down. So therefore, if you eased off, and this is for anybody out there who's trying to get past the slower car in front of you, is just ease off, get a better exit out of the corner. Certainly as we see how Simeon's being sort of super defensive, which he's well entitled to be doing on track, by the way, so absolutely nothing wrong with Simeon. But this shows an idea of how to get past a driver that's being super defensive on his lines, because you can see he's not taking the normal lines around this track, so therefore he's going to be a lot slower on the exits, and that's really where you're going to try to make it pay. Trying to yeet it down the inside of corners is just compromising your lines. So I think it's a good example of how to try and make a passing move on a driver when they're being as good as what Simeon is being for defensive. You've got to play it smart and literally force them into making a defensive position, but then change your position at the end to get that better exit out of the corner. You got anything more to add on that, Tom?
No, I agree. I mean, he's just...
I mean, look at that. How slow he's going to be.
It's basically just a masterclass in defending, is all I can see, really. I mean, It's just... I don't see him doing anything wrong that's, there's no reason to try and pass here. It's not a good place to pass. You just need to be... I mean, you've said it all already. You need to be thinking about leaving a bit of gap, get yourself set up for the final turn, get on him, use that slipstream all the way down, because when you're this close off his bumper, there's not much toe anyway, because you can't... you need that little bit of a run to then pull out to make the pass. So it's it's just a masterclass in defending by him here, and we can understand your frustrations if you feel you're quicker, but got to make the passes legitimate without them being dives or or continually tapping the back of Simeon's car, because obviously it's it can be race ending for everybody. So just got to bear that in mind.
Yeah. It definitely is, and what I mentioned about the light flashing, there is no rule against it. You can do it. It's just my personal preference is in the normal sessions, flashing your lights and stuff like that to put drivers off, so that's fair enough. But when you're in the league, sort of my mentality is, if I'm in a league and I'm having a really good battle with someone, and if I flashed him and he spun off from it, it would just leave a sour taste in my mouth that basically, why did I do that to put him off? I wanted the race. It was going to be a really good race out on track, so just leave it down to the racing rather than trying to put the driver off in flashing. So that's just my personal view. It's not in the rules or anything like that, but certainly is. But for me, that's good. Excellent masterclass there from Simeon to do the defensive line to keep the faster driver behind him, but then obviously a little bit more racecraft, and this is what we were saying earlier on when we were talking about the AMs and the lower classes, is where the racecraft comes into it, and getting that exit. Realise that he's going super defensive on corners, so you're never going to get him going into the corner. Your ideal opportunity is going to be coming out of the corner.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, in the YouTube chat, I was just reading what Simeon was saying there. If you can go back to the start-finish line on that lap and give me your thinking around his taps. We can't do that. It's not something that's been put in as a protest. We've already just sort of made a decision on this protest that's been put in against Simeon. But we can all see what's going on there. We've made our decision on this, so we don't want to go back and keep looking at things that aren't in the protest, because it's not, We'll, like Andy said, we'll be here all night. So.
I think looking at that, he is trying to make the move on you. Some of them are probably borderline that he's probably trying to be over ambitious to get into the corner. But where the two of you are racing, that's not what we would call it. He is close to you, but he's not really affecting your lines or whatever you're cutting in. I think this is very much hard racing. It looks like he is quicker than you, but you're doing such a good job at defensively holding him up into the corners and taking the defensive lines. Like we said, is perfect what you're doing. That there is always going to be them. So so there is no incident to be answered there. Okay, so the next one is Sammy Hendricks on Stefan Albanese. Let's have a look at that.
Excessive flashing is protestable under the sporting code according to the forums, yes, but it's not something that we have directly addressed, and it's not something that we will address on here right now, or I won't think during season 2. If somebody does it ridiculously, then I'll just direct message them and say, look, chill out. It's not
there is, if we feel that, I suppose if we feel that it is that, I suppose, isn't it?
The trouble is what is, once you start trying to put a rule in, what constitutes excessive, how many times per lap, and it'll just get ridiculous on how many times someone's allowed to flash versus not, and it's just it's not worth getting into. So let's see what this last one is.
Yeah, it's it's just being considerate to the other drivers around you. It's not very nice getting flashed. I don't like being flashed, and I think, well, why do it? Certainly, if you're coming up against a slower car and you're lapping, fair enough, give them a flash to know you're there. But if you're racing somebody, it can borderline on sportsman conduct, isn't it? So, right, so lap number 7. Oh, this is.
I'm sure you guys have watched quite a few of the podcasts now for the pit stop, and you know that we're looking at all these incidents and we're trying to be as fair as we possibly can around based upon the rules that we have in place. There's no benefit to us to give someone a penalty or not to give them a penalty. We look at every incident is different. We look at them as they come, and we just make the decision based on that. So, unless there's mitigating circumstances, then we decide it as we see it. So.
Turn number 7, being aggressively defensive. So turn 7 is not this one, not next one. Coming up to the next one.
We could try that, Kimson, but if one guy flashes somebody by accident and hits the wrong button, then what? They get a penalty, or it just becomes an absolute nightmare, basically.
Right now, lap 7.
Yeah, exactly, Tom. You just got to let them know you're there. That's fine, but continuous is personal preference. It all comes down to it's not an area we want to get into too much.
We will, like Tom said, if it does blatantly obvious that somebody's being like that, then we will, as Tom said, speak to that person and say, can you please stop doing that, because it's not very sportsmanlike.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we won't let somebody do it permanently.
Turn 7, apparently, last turn. What's the comment on this penalty?
Massively aggressively defensive. Oh, this is that big incident we saw, wasn't it? So is that? Yeah, so that's Stefan Albanese there. Right, slow mo this. So he's giving you room on the inside. He's obviously seen you there. Still got room.
I mean,
this room.
That's just.
Because if we look at it, this room there for fit your car down. There's still room. There's still room. There's more room now. There's more room now. There's more room now. And you sort of get twitchy. I think get twitchy on the exit.
Andy, just to confirm, what is our deadline for penalties? End of day Monday.
Yeah, midnight Monday.
Because apparently this was submitted at 25 minutes past 5 on Tuesday. I need to have a look at that and see if that's correct.
The 4th What date's the 4th? Yesterday. Yeah, in fact it is. But so correct. So this isn't a penalty, but we will look at it anyway. So it's good to have a look. So it is after the deadline, as we say. The deadline is Monday midnight, as per the rules. So that's another one there that we're looking at. So, but I mean, to me, I think there's enough room on the inside there. There's still enough room, and I think, Sammy, I think you probably come across, hit his back end, and then it starts going twitchy. Let's have a look on the cockpit and see what happens. Almost like just trying to watch.
I mean, at this point, you're within your right to have some space there. He's come across fairly firm. There is space. There is space, definitely, yeah. So it looks like the Porsche understeers slightly, and then obviously gets a bit of a tank slapper on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally think the inside car understeers.
Yeah, I think it does.
Because the Porsche is a bit renowned for understeer, but obviously it depends on what setup they're running. So it's, you know, hard to tell really.
I mean, the Audi certainly does come across, but there's enough room there for the car to get down. Slight little contact here, and then it's like a double hit. Is there any? I just want to see if there's any net code involved here. Oh, where's my camera? Where can I get the camera up?
In my opinion, it's a racing incident.
I think it is, yeah. I don't think there's any blame in here, even if this was in time, but it's out of time. But I think it is a...
He's squeezing you, but not squeezing you so much that you don't have room. It might feel like you don't have room, because obviously you're both slinging, going fast and all the other stuff, but I do think the Porsche understeers here, looking at this.
Yeah, I think it does. You're coming into the corner quite hard to try and get that pass and move done. If you had stayed to the inside, I mean, is there any contact there? Yeah, there's slight contact there, isn't there, then? But I think there's an opportunity.
The Porsche gets a tank slapper on, and that's what ruins it, basically. What lap is this? This is lap...
7.
7, okay,
So, I mean, the other thing is that there was still room. I mean, this is what caused that big incident between the drivers. If we slow-mo it, and it's hard to see when you're looking through, is that there's room on this inside. You almost like open your steering up to come in. So obviously he's pushing you inside, but you've still got all this area, and then you start coming across, and that's where the contact is in my eyes. Yeah, you can sort of see here. If you were able to carry it on the line. So we're coming around the corner. Yeah, he's coming over. If you carried on turning right, but here, see where the steering wheel sort of slightly opens? And it goes in, and then that's where the tank slapper is. I think that's what I see anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically racing this. You can see there, so it's coming across. It is a really dangerous place in that track to pass in that trying to pass in that last corner, because it's just such a hard corner.
I can understand why he tried.
Yeah, I can understand why he tried, but I don't think the Audi on the outside was there. So have we had any? I'll tell you one other thing I do want to see. I do want to see Thomas Wangen's pass on Neil Eric Isaacson. So it must have been one of these. It was one
56
of
maybe.
I think it was it this one? Let's have a look. Is it this one? It was when no, because he's in front already, so it was when he was behind, wasn't he? Where is it? It was quite close to the end, wasn't it?
Yep.
Right, is this it? Yes, this is it, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't believe these two were teammates, would you? Let's watch it back from here. I'm in the cockpit.
I was about to say go on cockpit.
It's good to see teammates fighting it out, though. That it's not the usual team orders, I suppose, is it? Let's go for a chase because we won't be able to see anything else. Get side by side. See his car there. It's like the battle of the who's going to break the latest sort of scenario, isn't it? It's like, oh. Well, that could have been a race ender for both of them there. Like, that was a brave old move. I wonder what Neil's actually thought of that.
Mr. AKM Racing has asked if we can see the Lee and Antonio collision.
See your brush with fame, mate. Right, okay. So that was extremely close, that one.
Yeah.
Right. So
click on if you click on Lee, or click on Lee and then see
laps. It's one of the laps
Well, I was going to say if you click on Lee, it'll be one of his laps that was really, really big, really long.
I think it was this one, 2:36. No, it was just in the light, wasn't it? So it would have been an earlier.
Yeah, I don't think Antonio came off that bad, did he? But Lee got.
Am I on the right? I'm still on Thomas. Where are you? Where is he?
You know, I haven't done any racing recently. I'm basically using my DD2 as an armrest.
An expensive armrest.
It's like a giant ass paperweight.
Nice. Let's go on Lee's. Oh, this is it. Yeah, because it was another one with Michael, was it?
Yeah.
The incident was between Michael and Antonio. Let's go forward.
Michael nearly put himself on the grass there. Coming up.
Corner, turn 8.
Turn number 8, yeah, the left-hander at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, this year.
What do they call this bit? Is it the chute? No, not the chute. What do they call this bit here?
It's just the corner. The next one's carousel, isn't it?
Yeah. Things, bad things. Okay, go on Lee's cockpit view.
I don't. Right, where's the.
Not that. Drive it, yeah. So at this point, Lee's probably thinking, 2 places for the price of 1.
Yeah.
But that Audi bounces. No!
No!
Ow.
Oh, we were watching this as well, weren't we? We were live watching this as well.
We were live watching it, yeah.
Oh, no, can't be. But I think, looking at that, it probably was. I mean, the initial incident was down here.
Yeah.
if you look, Michael hits in slightly hits into the back of Antonio, which pushes him off wide here. And you all know as soon as you get off wide onto this corner, you sort of lose control. Bounces across, hits Michael. Let's do a slow mo on it. So it comes down here. Michael's trying to get up the inside of him. Probably a bit ambitious. Gets a bit close. Hit tag. Just literally scuffs the back end there of the Audi. But just enough, I think. Just pushes it off. As soon as you get in this position, you're riding your luck. Comes back up, loses a back end, comes across track. Obviously, massive netcode that pushes Michael off.
Monster
hits
netcode.
in, then again
Nearly
smashes
hits that
into
tire
the
wall.
wall. And then, unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing that can be done there. And that's, I think you got front right suspension damage from that as well, if I remember rightly, Lee.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it, how the mechanics work and that it causes that much damage for a little scrape where you can hit the wall head on and be okay.
Well, sort of. It's mostly if there's the tyre barrier there, isn't it?
Yeah.
If the tyres are there, you get away with it a lot of the time.
I'm trying to think of which I'll tell you what I want to look at, and we probably need to find it. I'm trying to think who it was in the YouTube chat. Do you remember the car that sped across turn number 5 and we were watching it? Can you remember who that was? We saw it on the stream, didn't we? That he clipped coming down into turn 5 and he clipped the grass before it and sort of spun. Which one was it? Lap 9, me. Was it lap 9? Was it? Let's have a look, Tom. I'm sure this was the one that we were watching as well. Tom Savage there, lap 9. I did see that. That must have been a hot stopping moment, considering you're having a super strong race as well. Since lap 9.
David Gill was the speeding bullet.
Oh, that was it. It was David. It was David, wasn't it? It was coming down into there. He hit the gravel.
Grass, or the gravel, mud, the mud or whatever on the right hand side there.
Where is he? Where is he? Is it this lap? It's not this one. It might have been him. There was one with David hitting the grass. I don't think it was this one, though, was it? Yeah, it was David Gill, wasn't it? Yeah, it was David.
Look at his laps and see if you can. They said it was lap 9.
It's 2:10. I need to find it where it's. Which one was it? It was definitely in the light because we were able to view it on that, weren't we? So just trying to look here. 2:32. This one might be it actually. Oh, there you go. There's Tom in front. There's Tom, isn't it? Yeah, this is it. I don't know if have you watched it back yet, Tom, to see actually what happened. So David was coming down here. And there's a gravel trap just before, so he tried to get over to get right onto the right hand side of the track, got caught by the gravel and literally spun off like a speeding bullet. There you go. Do it at normal speed, kicks onto the gravel here, loses his car, and then it's like, whoa, and literally.
Oh! Can we see it from Tom's perspective?
Yeah.
Can we see it from the gearbox, Tom's car?
We can, let's have a look. Have the gearbox? I'll see if I can click the gearbox.
Here we go.
Let's do it at normal speed. You can see him there, he clips, just goes out one, clips this bit of the track and then play.
Oh,
Booze a chase. Would be
I feel bad.
Here.
I feel bad for Dave.
I do actually.
We have all done it. We have all done it.
There you go. It's like, da-da-da-da-da-da, whoa! I mean, it was good that you sort of almost saw him coming through from that point of view. It was That could have been a race ender if you had hit into him.
Tom said I saw him in the mirror zoom off to the side, so I was waiting for him to fly across the bonnet. He definitely flew across the bonnet, I'll give you that.
He actually went behind you though, didn't he? Did he go behind you?
In front.
Oh, no, he did in front.
Yeah, he split the difference.
Yeah, it was a passenger.
Oh my god.
Complete passenger here. There was nothing he could have done, but literally just missed a second. Had it been Swede, that could have been a massive pile up.
Bloody hell.
Very close.
Epic.
Yeah, there is. I'm trying to think if there was any other memorable ones. Obviously, we saw the pile up. So that was one of the incidents. Just trying to think. No, I think overall it was really good racing. So I can now see lap 9 battle between me and Savage. Yeah, okay. Lap 9. Okay. There you go. Let's have a watch now. Well, this was a good battle actually. This because I think you're racing with the car in front as well, aren't you? David. In fact, that's probably a good illustration here. Let's watch here. So, this is probably a good one for you, Shamapon. You can see here, Simeon's going sort of defensive again, not using all the track. Tom's getting a super run out. So this is a classic of what you do when somebody's being super defensive. So Tom has got the overspeed now on Simeon. Simeon's got the line here coming down into turn number 5. You can see Tom constantly moving his car slightly ahead. It's going to be a hard one here to keep that because Simeon's got that inside line. Super close, isn't it? Tom's almost got it, but Simeon's got that inside line. Now Tom's got that inside line, he finally gets the advantage. And that, I think that's a classic example of what to do to try and make that passing move there. Let's have a look at Simeon. Absolutely pushing it around there, aren't you, Simeon?
Oh yeah. Back end's just floating. Slip angle. Gauging the slip angle.
The what? What are you on about? I'm sure you two have been locked about. Wasn't it you two that were having the battle? You put the protesting against each other in Watkins. It was, wasn't it? I'm sure it was Tom and Simeon. That I'm sure it was.
Fantastic exit there by the Merc.
Yeah. Sort of neutralises the slipstream effect as well. I suppose it's classic what to do when you're in front and when you're behind as well. Yeah, I'm sure that these two are locked in a battle, I think, all season you guys have, haven't you? Go in. Suppose that closing a little bit. It's good, but there was some great battle. I thought the Pro-Am battle in this race was absolutely outstanding. You know, I think
yeah, agreed.
If let's have a look. So if we look, Lee was out in front on his own. I'm trying to think who was second. It was, if we look from lap, say, lap 3. Lee was in. Where's Lee? I think it was round here, wasn't it? I mean, all these cars in front. What lap are we on here? Lap number 3. It was just insane. And it stayed together for a good while as well, wasn't it? About 10 minutes. I mean, look at that for a train. So we got Christopher, Russ, David, Casper, Michael, Sophia, Kim Andre, and Alexander's correct. And then obviously you had Michael and that up front. But I mean, what a battle this is for the pro-am. You can't get closer racing than that, I think.
Well, when I build the free play app with some of the highlights and things for Sunday, then I'll watch this all back and get some good action shots from it all.
Definitely, but no, that's it. We're relatively low on the protest. I actually quite like it when you haven't got that many protests to sort of be looking at. So good.
Yeah, some fantastic racing. It was really, really good battling by loads of people. So it was, yeah, epic racing, guys. Really, really good.
It was. So that's pretty much all we got for tonight, I think. Obviously, we can talk about Barcelona coming up on Sunday. That's going to be a different ball game there, I think. And it's like you're saying, this track, the Road America, very much suited them cars with a grunt and the straight speed. But when we go to Barcelona, that's more of a tight, twisty track. You know, the braking and exit speed of cars, certainly the hairpin at turn is around about turn 5, I think it is, and where you go down the hill and then back up with before you get onto the back straight. The only really bit that the fast cars or the cars good in a straight line is that start finish line down into turn 1. But because we're losing the classic layout, it gives a little bit of advantage to them because they haven't got that. I'll call it a stupid chicane right at the end on a normal GP layout. I do much prefer the faster line of the historic turn. It's a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Barcelona. I'm really gutted I'm not racing in it because that's one of my favourite tracks.
No, you can't race, mate. You're not getting out to race it.
Oh. Worth a try.
Yeah, no, it is. There's some great racing overall. That Pro-Am field for me was the highlight of the Road America race, and congratulations to AKM Racing. Lee probably should have won that race. Still kept in there. Came third overall. And that's what we were saying, guys. You have your incidents, you get further down the field, but keep on going, because you had Scott Mokes get up to 4th overall in class from having an horrendous. I think he actually went into the pits to get a repair. And then you had Lee King McGee, who basically had that incident that we just watched there with Antonio Giovinazzi. Literally had front right suspension damage, but because it was an endurance round, he took it as one of his natural pit stops and just changed his strategy sort of on the fly and managed to get up into third. And it was anybody's guess, because I think Kim Andre Bortland, who won the race, was literally had to do a splash and dash at the end, and there was an opportunity in the last couple. I think if it was like 3 or 4 laps further, I think the AKM Racing guys might have been able to do something with Kim out in front, but there was just that little thing. But congratulations to them for getting the 2nd and 3rd overall. IGL Coatings again getting a 1-2 in the race seems to be the normal. Obviously Daniel seems to be the real big challenger to them two up in the pro. Tom and Simeon heading out the AM category. They seem to be locked in a titanic battle in each round, each one of them penalising the other every other round, I think it is. So you got them two, and half the time it's hard racing. And then you got the rookie class. You got three drivers in the rookie class that are actually up there giving it as well. So it's all good. So that there's so many different aspects. You got Nicholas Gronstrom seems to be very quick in that rookie field. Sam Curran, who's had a win. I think the only one who hasn't had a win in the top 3 is PJC, but he's just having clean rounds, scoring consistently well, and that's where we're saying
working his way up.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all about working your way up and just being consistency is key in championships. It's not all about the big wins.
100%, 100%. It is all about that. But I think that's it for tonight, guys. A relatively shorter one than normal. I think we normally go on and on and on these, but only having the 3 incidents and the one interview sort of cut it down, so in a more condensed, bite-sized pieces. But should be an interesting round. And any final words from yourself, Tom?
No, just obviously a big thank you to everyone for watching the pit stop. Massive thank you to everybody on track, and you know, we really appreciate it, and without you guys this all wouldn't be possible. So thank you everybody for coming along each week, and we're looking forward to Barcelona.
100%. It's going to be a great race, so join us on Sunday for back to the hour and 10-minute race in Barcelona. So very thanks for joining us. If you like the broadcasters, please give us that thumbs up, and as Tom said, it always helps us out getting up on the YouTube ladder. Obviously we're at the first couple of runs at the moment. We're doing fantastically well, and that's all down to you guys, and we really appreciate the fact. Think about subscribing if you haven't already, and clicking that bell to get notifications for when we go live, so you don't miss any action at all from either the race or the pit stop. But for myself, Andy T, and from Big TT next to me, we're going to bid you well, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday on the race. Good night.